there are many other people in the mainstream community who had supported us. But it's the state which is the culprit, in my opinion. It's the policies of multiculturalism. So you develop the policies, but you don't have the resources, and you do not acknowledge multicultural art. That is the problem which we face, and it's not going to be resolved unless we have a very strong lobby. Thank you so much. Differentiate between people, how they receive us, and what are the state policies.
Thank you, Nayar. Next we have Manuela.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to respond to this. I think that there's a misconception about Canada's multiculturalism, in terms that we think that the idea of multiculturalism and the mosaic really hides the fact that, and people don't understand that Canada's immigration policies are very assimilationist. They're very oriented towards assimilation, but also they're economically motivated. So it's interesting that the policies for people to immigrate here, as you know, are very selective of who gets to come here. And it's usually, if you're not a refugee, if you're a newcomer here, you have to have a lot of money, you have to have a lot of education. So what I'm pointing at is that immigrants, for a huge part, almost subsidize the economy of Canada. That's right. So it's an economically motivated policy, and it's a policy in which we're expected to assimilate as nice, conformist, grateful immigrants. And we're supposed to leave everything that made us who we are behind and become good workers. The most important thing is that we become good, compliant workers, over conform to the norms here, and not necessarily express who we are and our culture and our political ideas and our philosophical ideas and our wants and needs for the future. So I think that a lot of newcomers and immigrants feel this pressure to conform and to assimilate, and not to sometimes be critical and create art that is also engages and is critical of where we live now, because we can't live who we were. If we were warriors and social fighters in our countries, we're gonna come here and do the same thing, and that's good for Canada. That's a good thing for Canada.
Yeah. Thank you, Manuela. Next we have Aruki Chattopadhyay.
Aruki Chattopadhyay again, and like Manisha mentioned, that now I am a poet. I belong to the Saskatchewan Arts Guild, and Writers Guild, and also I am with the Saskatoon Collective Society for writing. I belong to a smaller group again, and we sort of get together. Making the story short, I think I do agree, it's a very colorful country, that way, if you can call it. It's a beautiful painting if you put different dabs of colors. Yes, of course, Canada has probably the most beautiful picture, but it is politically, of course, motivated, and we come here and everybody says, well, what's the problem? Like, you can write if you want. Yes, you can have a function. Yes, you can go to the folk fest. But that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about very intense problem that we are going through. It's a death of a culture. And that death is actually dangerous. Mm-hmm. Our children who are born here, they will probably partly carry a little bit of our heritage and our language and our dance and music and all that. Eventually dies down. It doesn't get carried away. And I think that's the permanent death of cultures. So I think we have all sacrificed a lot by giving out our cultures, death of culture. And we see that every day happening. And I'm a poet. I published my first Bengali poetry book in 2017. I went to Calcutta to do that. After writing the Bengali poetry book and publishing it, I realized that I don't have that atmosphere. I don't have that impetus here. I don't get that feedback from people. I don't have a place that I can share. Even my own husband, I will write a poem and I'll sometimes say, I've written a poem, would you like to hear it? And he's looking at the screen and he'll say, sure, go ahead and read it. So I don't get the other people who are on the same boat and sharing my pain or my expressions and what I'm writing. Anyway, this year I'm writing English poetry and things have changed a little bit because now I am assimilating with the mainstream. Once you get to the mainstream, it's a different story altogether, and I see this huge difference. And I feel happy because I can share my things with other people, but at the same time, I'm very hurt because my own language that I can express a lot more. And here, I stopped writing in Bangla because I don't find that feedback. It's like it's a very bad comparison. It's like some family member one dies and you try to put your attention to another member so that you replace the pain. So I'm sort of replacing the pain with that, and I'm sure all of us are probably sharing the same thing. Especially when you have family, you see that more and more because you see your children don't have that, what you're trying to give it to them. So I think, Jamunesha, thank you very much for creating this space, and I think we need to talk. We need to have a lobby. I think that's what's more important. To get to the politician to make a state policy, I think we need to have a lobbying group, and this is probably the starting point. Saskatoon may be a small city, but nevertheless, Saskatoon can start a lobbying group probably. Thank you.
Thanks for your strong voice, Arati Chattopadhyay. Next, I'm going to Sneha Mukherjee, and after that, Mosul Alun. And yes, and then Pallabi.
I think most of my thought has been shared by Aarti already. I think she has spoken it all, but it's a very wider aspect, and I expertise in dancing. So let me elaborate a little bit on that. So as we were talking about tokenization and underrepresentation, so what I face is like I'll talk in a very basic language, is that my own community people, like my people from our country, sometimes get confused with the popular culture and the classical art form. It's always been a fight through generations. Even back home in India, there is a problem. Always classical people who practice classical dance form has this fight of they have this identity crisis when they go to an entertaining show where people really want to get entertained, having food and liquor, and that's not the place where we actually get that environment where we are practicing classical dance forms. So I'll give you a small example. When kids go to this talent shows and kind of entertaining shows, the first complaint what they get is that the music wasn't loud enough. People were not clapping. They said they were not really entertained, and the kids in the schools are taught that you need to be respectful. That's what the kids are asked to be done, and they just sit and watch, and they just wait for that dance to get over. Trust me, this is a kind of a feeling what that artists get, the little kids, when they're performing on stage. So they can feel it, they can sense it, like it's not that I know people out here are very polite. They'll never come up and say that what, this is something what we don't really like to see or watch or listen. But the body language and the reaction what you get from the audience is painful. It's very, very painful, and we don't want to be in just as a part of a protocol where in a program it's said that you need to have these many dance forms from these many countries, and that's a very good representation of multiculturalism. But end of the day, you are done. There are just two girls dancing on stage and nobody really cares. And after the program, they're like, what, we should end up into doing something which can be mainstream. That's what Aarti was mentioning, mainstream. So again, Bollywood music that has been inspired with the Western popular culture, and the moves that are not even part of Indian dance forms. So these has been incorporated in Bollywood, and that's what people from India, like, they want their kids to learn. So this is a challenge from my own community. I don't blame people from other cultural backgrounds because they don't have enough exposure to it. But what about the people who are from India or Bangladesh or Pakistan, all these South Asian countries? they really don't relate. They're like, teach my kid something what she can perform and people clap. So this is the kind of reaction what we get. And why is this so slow? When is she going to go on stage? And why don't you teach this item numbers? What is item number? I was shocked when I heard the term item number. So this is something that has been popularized in Bollywood, and the education, like artistic education, I would say, is so poor that parents really come up and say that why don't you teach that, what kind of songs that are played in clubs and adult lyrics to the kids, which is totally a nightmare. And sometimes I really get worried that where we are heading to. So in a small city like Saskatoon, fighting with so many things is getting really really tough, and we need fighters, we need performers who can show that we can still go forward with the beautiful culture we have. Thank you, Javanisa, for letting this beautiful discussion happen.
Thanks, Neha, for sharing
Yeah.
your experience. Honestly, it's I mean very difficult to amplify the voices of the artist. As an artist myself, I'm a singer, Bangla song singer, but I feel I'm a dead artist. Last 10 years I gave up singing. It's not only last 10 years, the day I left my home country and when I came in abroad, it's been close to 20 years that I left my home country. So we didn't have any weapon and we don't know where to go, how to talk, where to talk, whom to talk. And then finally, I realized that, and it took almost 10 years for me to understand how to wake up or how to put together everything. I mean, our thoughts and pains and happiness, everything, right? So this community radio is here today, right, besides here with us, to create some hope, to create a platform for voicing the artists. Next, I would like to go to Mansoor Alam. The day he came here in this city, I still can remember how excited I was that a tabla player is coming from India who did his PhD in tabla. And in South Asia, tabla, it's sort of drums. In Western world, we call it drums, but in India, we call it tabla and baya. That's the instrument that he learned and he did his PhD. So I think I met you around 6 to 5 years ago, right?
3.5 years.
3.5 years, okay, only 3.5 years. So after 3 years, after seeing the artistic world of Saskatoon, what's your impression and what's your struggle? Can you please share?
Actually, the thing is, I did my PhD in tabla, but I'm learning tabla from my studying is like when I was studying in class 5. From that time, I was learning tabla and I was performing tabla from that time. And when I came to Canada, obviously to get better life, to perform more. And when I came here, I performed a lots of program. In my first year, I think every month 2 or 3 or some months also 4 or 5 programs I performed. But after then, when I joined for work, I want. After that, when I joined for work, but for living here, for surviving, we have to work. The economical situation in Canada, it is not that much of good that we can get little work or we can get more money. Not like that. To survive in here in Saskatoon, we have to work every day, or some we have to work 2 or 3 jobs by that way. So after working by that way, it is very hard to practice. So nowadays I'm thinking what I learned before and what I am going to perform. The reason the performance quality I am thinking it is going down. The reason when we are going to perform the kind of program, we need not to learn that much of thing. Or without learning or without very low learning, people also can perform this kind of program. So people who are learning in their subjects, they are getting problem actually. They cannot perform by their own way. And not only the surviving question not only for us, it is for not only musician, it is for everyone. The reason will perform, for whom will perform, the people who learn the music, who the audience, they are also surviving on their own life. So everyone trying to do the more job, do the more work for surviving here. So everyone getting problem. Thank you, Japala.
Thank you, Mansur. Next, I'm going to Azad Danish. And as I said that our community radio gave us this platform, and it's only for an hour, so we don't have much time in our hand. So next I have Pallabi, and then I think we will go for some action, like as Nayar, Arati, Manuela, many of them talked about lobby. So I think we will keep some time to talk about it, that how can we start doing that lobby. So I'm going to Azad Danish.
Thank you, Japula. Thank you very much. I heard a lot of complaints too. Let's think of something positive too. Well, let's do something together. And like, I just started a TV program, online TV channel. I'm offering my channel to you, all the artists, to get introduced. I want to promote everything, all your art forms. I have a radio station which we can use. I also arrange shows, and if you like to introduce yourself or your art, you're always welcome. Just do practice whatever you know, practice it, and teach the kids, teach the next generation to do something, and just practice it, and give some more time. It's inside you, that's is your soul, for yourself. Just keep some time, find some time to do practice for your. Mansoor bhai came in for last time I came in, I was so happy that that level of artist is here with us, and we're not getting any benefits from it. And I wish he can start practicing again, and start teaching kids, and hope we can do better in this way. So my platforms are always available for everybody, all the artists, anytime.
What I can hear from you, that we need to be in a network so that we can encourage each other, so that we can help each other to go for practice, right? So it's really sounds positive, and congratulations for your new television artist community. You should be happy.
Thank you.
So we need more platform like this to work for. Next, I have Pallabi Mojumdar to say something again.
Thanks again. I would like to mention one more thing is just like Shelly Bhabi told that she loves planting because she loves to see the plant growing. Because the inner artist mind is dying hard. So the thing is that when we feel that I'm happy because I can see the growth of the plant, we need to water that plant. We need to give soil to that plant. Just like that, we artists, we need authentic platforms. And another thing is that financial background. You do agree or not do agree, but it's the fact. When we used to work back home, like the artists, they had almost like in our country, in Bangladesh, we had like crores of people, right? But I would say 25% now, 25% people maybe, or 10% maybe, they're actually culturally literate. And that's why when we leave our country and come to Canada, we have, I don't know, maybe 1% culturally literate people here in Saskatoon. Maybe I want to mention that because just like Mansoor Bhai told, that when we go to the stage performance, actually these are not the stage performance we want to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's not the stage for us. We want to shine up our skill more and more so that it's become, I would say, the best performance for us. So we need something that will bring us to our life, that is also financial stability. right? When we work for payment to other jobs, like we spend the whole day, when am I going to practice? If there is a place where we can go and contribute more, and or the government or something like that, that will ensure, okay, you are a poet or you are an artist, or you can contribute something, write something or do something, and you will get paid. For example, if I teach my daughter like Indian classical music, one day she might ask me, Mom, why are you teaching me this? Because if you're teaching me this is not going to give me anything other than mental pleasure. But at the same time, the mental pleasure is not only the thing. We need to have that financial stability too. Thank you very much.
We have only 2 minutes in our hand, so before we wrap up our show today, I would like to say thanks to each and every artist who came out today. And as I said, that we just need some direction, right? Some hope. So how can we do those lobbies, and how we can create more space in the community for healthy artistic growth? Can we just, I want to invite Nayar first. Just 1 minute, and yes, please.
I have been saying lobby, right? I think we, first of all, out of this, a letter needs to go to the Prime Minister's office from here. If we have a multicultural act, multicultural policies, then let us just really implement them in a way that we don't give up who we really are, right? We stay who we really are. And if we write a really good letter, we start with that, and then getting together and talking, and how do we promote our struggle. At this time, I would really like to pay tribute to people like David Kaplan, who was the great musician of the city, teaching in the College of Musicians, and he used to support all the artists who came, musicians coming from all over the world. After he's gone, we don't have that. And somebody mentioned it, institutionalize what we have to. It has to go to school, it has to go to music department, arts and all that. So that is where we start with a letter, but then we push it and institutionalize what we have brought, rather than performing it here and there. Thank you so much.
I just want to invite everybody who is here to join the Anti-Racism Network. There is already a network that we can use to put pressure and do some lobby around these issues, that people of color, indigenous people, and newcomers and refugees, we are also engaged in making art, and this art is connected to the struggles and the histories of our people, and that's what we want people, the rest of Canadians, to know. That they're not just ornamental things, pretty things to consume, they contain our histories, and that's what we want people to learn about.
Artists have to make art regularly. Artists need the freedom of doing it, and they need the platform of their artistic growth. CFCR Community Radio, Banglar Gano Kotha, is nothing but a platform for our community artists. Dear listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We will continue this discussion here in the studio and also around the city. And we will keep fighting to create our own space, to save this earth, Mother Earth. Women are the fighter, women are the taking care of their children, this land, water, all the gentle power, all the arts, music, dance, story, play, everything. So let's celebrate this women's power and this world's power, art's power. We would like to sing together, "We Shall Overcome," before we go home. We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Amra